Trump's taken the world hostage. And so we want to try to free the hostages. That's going to be the theme. The theme is free the hostages. So, when you think about it, it's all pretty much hostage taking. If it's not hostage taking with like human lives, it's hostage taking with funds, or it's hostage taking with um whoa with economics, like the economy itself, like hostage taking with tariffs. Like if you want your tariff free economy back, you'll do what I say. So there was a video I saw today of the ICE kidnappers with a 5-year-old autistic girl that they'd taken hostage, and they were negotiating with their parents, from who I guess were on their doorstep. You couldn't see the parents. Maybe it was like a ring cam recording. No, I guess it was a phone recording it because they were zooming in. So they were recording it, but the ICE agents had their kid taken hostage, and was they were demanding that the people come out. They're like, I can give you my ID. Obviously, they have ID that proves there shouldn't be, no one should be being harassed by ICE, but that whatever ICE's claim for harassing them was fake. But they said, no, we can't just take your ID. You have to come out. Like they were gonna insist on kidnapping the mom or kidnapping the dad to allow them to get their autistic 5-year-old daughter back. And so the 5-year-old is actively a hostage of these ICE agents, reminding me of the Native Americans that they kidnapped recently, who they said they couldn't find. And they refused to produce the people or their remains unless the tribe agreed to things, agreed to help ICE this way or that. So again, a hostage situation. They have a demand. They've taken hostages, and they have demands that the tribe um, agree to in order to get the hostages back. And that, of course, reminds you of what they were trying to blame Hamas for, saying that they were refusing to return remains that they were holding hostage. Of course, in that case, there was an entire city of rubble on top of the remains, and they apparently killed everybody that knew where those remains were. That's not the case with ICE. There's not a city of rubble on top of them. They haven't killed everybody who knows where those particular kidnapping victims or their remains were. And then that got me to making the comparisons between ICE and Hamas, and how they have kidnapped and killed more people. ICE has kidnapped and killed more people than Hamas did. So that makes them worse by like a measurable standard. Or refusing to return hostages or remains of hostages, and using the remains as hostages when they don't really have any excuse for that whatsoever, makes them a lot worse than Hamas. Hamas was at least engaged in a negotiation, something that was going on. Thanks. It's like the third coating I put on them. I don't usually put that many coats on them, but this stuff is like clear with purple sparkles, so I kind of have to put more coats on it. But I figured I'd do that while I was waiting for people to show up. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for commenting. Just talking about how we're going to stop Trump, how to stop his wars. I know some pretty simple ways to do it, but it's a matter of getting people to talk about those things, because nobody seems to be talking about them. So Now we're in a dangerous situation with my nails are still wet and cat has arrived and probably wants me to pet her. But I don't really want cat fur on the nails. Anyway, thank y'all for being here. Thanks for the reactions and comments. Um, we're gonna win. Trump and the Trumputineers are gonna lose. There's all sorts of evidence of this, but some signs from recent events. I mean, there's been some victories here and there. There's some kind of lackluster pushback from European leaders against Trump taking Greenland, such as Emmanuel Macron inviting him to dinner. That's their pushback. I was thinking about that today. Plenty of Americans know Trump is working for Putin. I'm sure Europeans can figure it out. I mean, not all of them, obviously, but enough of the influential, powerful ones should know that Trump is working for Putin. Are they just afraid to say it? They don't want to have to start addressing the actual situation, so they're just going to try to play along like we're in some fantasy land where he's not working for Putin. It seems dangerous, and I guess weighing their options against actually having to confront him. Although I think we should be the ones to assure them that they've got Americans on their side and really everybody else in the world on their side. The Trumputineer base is going to shrink quickly. Hi, Carissa. Nice to see you. Is your emoji eating a bowl of ramen, soup, or a bowl of like a cup of coffee or something? Thanks for being here. Tea. Okay. So thanks for being here. What's on your mind? Sorry about the Nazi in chat yelling MAGA stuff. At least that's the first one. Orcs at Work has been here before, I believe. And Carissa is the best friend of the channel. So thanks for being here, Carissa. I'll just keep talking about stuff. I was going to talk about how to stop Trump from invading Greenland. How to stop us from invading Greenland. It also, I think, needs to be discussed that Trump seems to be giving Alaska to Putin. He's moving those soldiers out of Alaska into Minneapolis. And if he's moving hundreds, thousands of soldiers out of Alaska, what were the soldiers doing in Alaska to begin with? Well, they protected from Putin, right? So if Trump's like, you should give me Greenland. Here, I'll show you. I'll give Alaska to Putin and show you how easy it is to just to give away these large frozen land masses. I think that's pretty much what he's up to. Or I guess I should probably make a video about this. Because the clearest thing that Trump is doing is destroying NATO. Does he want Greenland? If you put it this way, is it worth it to destroy NATO over whether or not Trump gets Greenland? No, it's not worth it. NATO should just let Trump have Greenland and still preserve NATO, is the idea. Because they're the ones, the idea that Trump's putting forth is that NATO is the ones who are going to destroy NATO. No, Trump's destroying NATO. His goal is to destroy NATO. Greenland doesn't really matter that much. Just like Alaska. I mean, if he gives Alaska to Putin, who's going to stop him? We have to take Alaska back from Putin next or something. But Putin wasn't about to take Greenland, but Putin can take Alaska if Trump decides to give it to him slash move the soldiers from Alaska into Minneapolis, as he just did. So it seems to me like Trump's plan is to let Putin take Alaska and to take Greenland, but from taking Greenland, he's really, that it is going to take European forces to defend Greenland. So that's taking, you know, some attention and resources away from Ukraine. Not really, because it's not like everybody was giving everything to Ukraine anyway. I'm thinking Ukraine seems to be beating Russia on the battlefield anyway. I was thinking that even though U.S. has been such a big supplier, they've also supplied Ukraine with all these restraints. Like the supplies that U.S. gives to Ukraine has always included restraints. And if U.S. is out of the picture, then those restraints are out of the picture. And Ukraine can get to finish defeating Putin. And I'm really grateful to Ukraine, thinking that the Ukrainians are doing more to save America from Trump and Putin than people in America are, that we owe them everything. But I'm also really hoping that they'll defeat Putin. J-Bone, clits really do exist. Not for him, though. That's like, I don't know how to play a Chinese lute. I'm not even going to, will I ever even see one? So it doesn't really matter that they exist to him. Just like I'm never going to see I'm not going to learn how to use a jackhammer. I might see other people use a jackhammer, but I'm not going to learn to use a jackhammer. He's not going to need to know what a clit is. It's not his wheelhouse. That's not in his wheelhouse. So, sorry about the Trumputineers. Oh, there was only one anyway. It really doesn't make a lot of sense. Like I understand why you're in the live, because, we like each other. But why are these people in the live, over and over and over again? Just to be insufferable twats and trolls for Trump. Like that whole thing about how they pay people to protest or something, which nobody does. It seems like it has to be a projection. They must get paid to do this. This must be their job. They just are really bad at their jobs. I don't know, I can't understand it. I can't understand why you would curse me and I'll leave. No, while you're here, why do you waste your life like this? Why is this what you're doing, wasting your life? Hello, Sigma. J-Bone, why are you wasting your life by returning to my live over and over again? Why do you do it? Does it bring you some sort of pleasure, or does it make you feel some kind of way about something? Do you think it's fun? But, are you really, okay, how can I put this? What else do you like? What else do you think is fun? Is there something else that you think is fun? It is sad, but, I'm starting to get this mental image of, I don't know, just a really deprived life. What else do you think is fun? Do you own a ball? I feel bad even, asking, do you have a, I don't even want to ask about other things. I just want to establish, first of all, do you own a ball? Have you ever had a ball? Any kind of ball? He says the pay is good. So they do pay you. Okay, but have they paid you enough that you can afford a ball? Have you ever played with a ball? before? Have you ever like thrown a ball or kicked a ball or something? Okay. That's good. Someone else says they played with balls, but the chat, the YouTube filter blocked it. Okay, so like I guess I feel bad for you. When you say the pay is good, like what do you consider good pay? How much is the pay? How much do they pay you to troll every day? And then who do you troll when you're not trolling me? Like do you only have to work when I'm live and then you're trolling me, or do you troll anybody else? Gosh, why are you so boring and slow? I guess I just think you start to think they're not artificially stupid. Crap. Oh well. I accidentally deleted his message that said the pay is good. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Yep, sorry. Optimistic Taco Truck is here. Optimistic Taco Truck said, "Why are you so angry all the time?" I don't, dude. If this seems angry, like what type of chill? Like how chill can you? Who do you consider to be a relaxed or chill person? If I seem angry to you right now, your question was, why are you so angry all the time and put so much focus on that hate? Your name is Optimistic Taco Truck. Again, I would request that you mention who you think is like not angry. What's an example to you of somebody who's not angry if you think I'm being super angry right now? Trolls troll because they ain't got shit going on in their life. Okay, I mean, I can believe that, Abby. He says it was because they paid him. Antifa Forever says, would you live in Portland, Oregon? It just seems like a weird question for somebody whose profile is Antifa Forever to ask. Abby Wright, they seem like a very miserable existence, is what Carissa said. Like, he said they pay him to troll, but then he won't say how much they pay him. And then he won't say anything else he likes to do for fun, or whether or not he can afford to own a ball, whether or not he's ever owned a ball. It's not like I think having a ball is a real status symbol, like that there's people who have balls and people who don't. Like, it doesn't really matter. A lot of people just don't own balls because they don't play sports. They don't have any reason to own a ball. But it's just something that came to mind, and I was like, have you ever even owned a ball? And he didn't really have a response. It's kind of sad. Y'all don't think people get paid to troll? That's weird. I wonder why you would think that. I wonder why you would think that and why you would be kind of like sure about it. It's just kind of weird. Nah, that's me and the PFP. No one's going to do anything. It's not a terrorist organization. So I don't hide. I'm tired of people saying that we hide our faces. What's not a terrorist organization? Oh, Antifa. Oh, right. That's cool. You're actually an Antifa person. That's cool. I thought you were like something about the way you asked the question. You asked the question, would you live in Portland, Oregon? Which doesn't seem like a question that an Antifa person would ask. It sounds like a question that a fascist would ask. Because fascists seem to have an idea that Portland, Oregon is not a nice place to live, when it totally is. And so, would you live in Portland, Oregon? It kind of presumes that there's a reason not to live in Portland, Oregon. Like saying, you know, would you live in Moscow, right? Would you live in Kiev right now? Would you live in Gaza right now? Would you live there? Like, why wouldn't you live? Oh, yeah, you wouldn't live there. But why? why would you ask a question that puts Portland in a context like that if you were actually Antifa? I just don't believe that you're Antifa, I guess is what I'm pointing out. That you're like, oh, I showed my face, but you're fake. So what difference does it make? Right? I mean, or are you really Antifa? I don't know. We'll find out in a second. I thought you said, is it tiger nail polish? Okay. Antifa Forever has another comment. Yes, I live in Oregon. I just like to hear people's opinions on Oregon. Oh, okay. Would you live in Portland? Yeah, I totally would. I didn't take your question in good faith. Yeah, I would totally live in Portland, Oregon. Yes, I live in Oregon. I just like to hear people's opinions on Oregon. Helps me figure out the type of person. No hard feelings. Would you live in Georgia? So I've lived in Georgia before. So would you live in Georgia? I would just be interested. It's like the opposite ends of the country. Georgia's not quite as southeast as you can go because you can go to Florida. I don't know why you'd want to unless you're going to like Disney World or something. The Everglades, the Dolly Museum. And Oregon's about as far northwest than you can go in America, unless you go to Washington, especially after Putin takes Alaska. After Trump gives Putin Alaska as like a betrothal gift or something, then Washington will be the most northwestern part of America you can go to. I don't know a lot about Georgia, but maybe. It's a pretty good answer. Carissa says, LMAO, I'm not even going to ask if anyone wants to live where I'm at. Okay, well, here, where I am now is Colorado. So would you live in Colorado? I think that's an easy yes, isn't it? Anybody would live in Colorado. The reasons not to live in Colorado are few and wrong. Yeah, Colorado's pretty awesome. Abby says, I don't want to live in a hardcore red state. I don't know that there's going to be that many hardcore red states left. I think they're all about to crumble. What do you guys think about the midterms? You think we're going to have them? Or you think Trump's going to try to cancel them? Because I think we have, significant protests. I'll call it significant protests now. Well, we had the biggest protest we've ever had in American history a few months back, but we have significant protests now. But I don't think they're anything like what the protests will be like. I don't even know if you could call it protest. If he cancels the midterms, I don't think it's called a protest anymore. Chris is in a hardcore red state, but in a blue dot. It's weird they call it dots. You guys how big the country is? How big the planet is? It's really big. There's a whole lot of space here for a lot more people. Like a lot more people. So I feel lucky to live in Colorado. We have good laws. We have like some good police officers. I mean, we have police officers who aren't harassing people. And we have police officers, like we have a police officer who killed a Trumputineer, a terrorist. I don't know how many people have that. We have a Secretary of State who kicked Trump off the ballot. I don't know if any other state has that. Maybe one. I think we're the only one. We have officials who, when Trump tries to pardon somebody, he says, fuck you, and doesn't pardon them. She's still in jail. Trump canceled billions of dollars worth of funds that come to our state, but we're still doing what's right. We didn't give in to his hostage taking. Chris says, basically have to shut down a lot of schools and letting a lot of teachers go because people are leaving, because the state's emptying. Well, Trump just canceled all funds for daycare to Colorado. So wait till somebody in your state does something Trump doesn't like, and it gives him an excuse to cancel all your funds and stuff. He's tried to cancel. He'll use ICE as an excuse to announce martial law. Right. And then they lose. I think that's what they don't understand. There's ways that we can there's lots of ways we can defeat Trump before the midterms. We should do that and still have our midterms. I've joked or made the comment we should move the midterms up. Well, we probably can't move the midterms up. But we can remove Trump before the midterms. That's not that hard. Like, actually, there's a lot of reasons and ways to do it. A lot of things you can impeach him over, and a lot of different things you could 25th Amendment, remove him for being unfit. Just lots of different ones, or a lot of those put together. And I think that should be our focus before the midterms. There shouldn't be some idea that when the midterms come around, we'll vote him out of office. If it's looking like we're going to vote him out of office, he'll cancel the midterms. Simple as that. But if we're going to yank him out of office anyway, there won't be anybody there to cancel the midterms. There won't be anything to cancel the midterms for because he'll be gone. I guess J.D. Vance could try to cancel. Well, no, because you're going to impeach Vance too. Like, as far as I can tell, you impeach Trump, Vance, and Johnson. Those are the top three. And then the line of succession goes to Chuck Grassley, I believe. Chuck Grassley would be president. And he's like really old. But he might, if you can impeach him with the rest of them, then it's the next person. But as far as I can tell, if you get it down to Chuck Grassley, if you get rid of Trump, Vance, and Johnson in one impeachment, you've done pretty much the most significant thing anyone's ever done to save America. So do that. Shit ain't that hard. He can't even stay awake. I can barely stay awake. I'm just sleepy. But, I heard somebody say to Anderson Cooper that Trump's insane. And then Anderson Cooper said, push back. And said, you really think he's insane? He's like, yes, he's insane. And I was like, I'll agree that he's insane. I'll say that's not an inaccurate assessment to say that he's insane. But he's kind of insane in like the evil supervillain insane way, where he's like insane, but he's still functionally insane. And what he's functioning for, like, I think what's more insane than Trump himself personally, I'm not saying he's not insane, but what's more insane than Trump, the more insane thing about Trump than his mental insanity is Putin. Putin does insane shit. And Putin's doing everything Trump does is Putin's doing it through him. So, maybe when I don't know, I can't see anything he does that doesn't fit that pattern. Let me know in comments. Like, I guess my joke about it is even Kofefe. The thing that he supposedly missaid, like he was saying COVID a year or two before it happened, so he caught himself and said Kofefe or something. I joke that that's, Putin programming. But other than that, other than some things that he might accidentally do, I think Putin picks all this stuff. And what does it mean? It means that Trump's goal is not Greenland. His goal is destroy NATO. Taking Greenland or threatening Greenland or whatever is just the means to destroy NATO. Destroying NATO is the goal because that's Putin's goal. So Trump is helping him reach that goal. So again, you could say, okay, let Trump have Greenland and preserve NATO. Well, then Trump will start asking, demanding, all the whatever you call those Scandinavian states, Scandinavia, Sweden, Finland, and stuff, all that stuff. He'll start demanding all that. He's basically, there's like good cop, bad cop with Putin, I guess. He's trying to take chunks of Europe by saying, you got to give it to me. I'm your friend. I'll keep this other guy from getting it. And then Putin's just going to come take it by force. But they're working together. So they're taking Europe from both sides. Is it hearts and okay? Or cherries and okay? So it was big news today. Don Lemon was big news today. I wanted to say thanks to Don Lemon. I know Chris also appreciates Don Lemon, so I want to do a little Don Lemon appreciation thread. What part of Europe Putin trying to take? Ukraine? Well, in Poland, and I mean Ukraine is more like Eurasia, isn't it? But that's, you've got to take Ukraine to get to Europe. What did I just say? I don't know. What did I just say? I say a lot of things. Beans. Why do we say beans? Are those beans in okay? Okay. Magic beans? So, Don Lemon. Don Lemon, American hero. Wanted to do a little Don Lemon appreciation party because all Americans love Don Lemon. And people that are too cool for Don Lemon are highly suspicious. Like, if you're too cool for Don Lemon, like, I understand Don Lemon has said some things, he's been, he's said some, like, made an anti-trans statement. He's made some, like, ignorant statements of things that he could be a little bit more aware of. He can be a little more sensitive. But that's it, dude. Don Lemon's awesome, dude. We love Don Lemon. And I'm sure he learns from those things. When he makes a mistake like that, I'm sure he learns from it and becomes a better speaker. Oh, good. Okay, good. No pills, no kings, no gods, just flesh and blood. Down here there's laws that no man's above. No kings, no gods, not one of us. You're all alone when the crown comes off and the kingdom's gone. I used to like Don and Chris Cuomo, but no more. Why don't you like Don Lemon? I understand not liking Chris Cuomo. We don't have to go into it. But why don't you like Don Lemon? That's so weird. He types a racist slur, and then he types, "We love you, God." That's so weird. I mean, that's like creepy, gross, weird. Like, that's one of those spooky, gross, what are you possessed by? Dude, your God is fake. Our Judas beats your Jesus. Your Jesus is Antichrist. The real Jesus defeats him. Your God is fake. Jesus is from the goddess. That's how you know that your God is fake. That's how you know that your Jesus is fake. Is because your Jesus is from a fake God. Our Jesus is from the goddess. You're wrong. And you have no power here. I'm going to go ahead and mute you. And I'll be like, oh, you think God allows all words? Well, I'm going to disallow your words. So fuck you. But actually, in the meantime, I'm going to curse you. I'm going to curse you and all your fucking Klansmen. And I'm not going to silence you. I'm going to curse you. I'm going to curse you and your family, and I'm cursing all your Klansmen, and I'm cursing all the Trumputineers you associate with, and I'm cursing Trump and Putin and Netanyahu through you. That was fun earlier. I cursed that Nazi who had all those followers, and I cursed his followers too. Even you say God while supporting a pedophile. Exactly. He is a pedophile. And then he goes and does all this stupid racist bullshit. Okay, you're typing the N word in segments in YouTube because you figured that out. You're just a typical Nazi Trump. You're just proving that Trump fans are all racist pieces of shit. All you're doing is showing, oh yeah, Trump fans being racist pieces of shit. That's true. That's all you did. Abu Baba is here too saying Trump. But he named himself after a street, what's it called? What's it called? Double Dragon. He named himself after a Double Dragon character. I'm not upset over a word. You can't spell your. I'm upset. I'm not even upset. You're a worthless, racist piece of shit. I'm glad you're here so I can curse your family. And I can curse you. And I can curse your clan. And I can curse your Trumputineer terrorist network. And I can curse Trump and Putin and Netanyahu through you. That's great. That's what I do to Trumputineers. You come to the live and I curse you. Your NASCAR leaders die. Your cartoonists die. It's great. Your congressmen who are 100% MAGA voters die. It's great. Your congresswomen quit. It's great. You lose Congress. You lose the presidency. You get impeached. Your leaders get executed for treason. It's great. And you helped by being here in order to get cursed. And you're spelling you're wrong, but you're saying you're weak. There's a reason you're not married, you bum. But you can't spell your. Like, just know that every time you think you're spelling your, you need to spell it the other way. And every time you spell it the other way, you need to spell it that way. Dude, ICE isn't going to do shit. ICE is a bunch of terrorists. They're probably scared. They'll probably always be too scared or too few in number to ever really come to Colorado. Like, point blank. Like, they're going to be dealt with before they ever get around to us. ICE ain't coming here. Like, that's all there is. And if you guys are cheering on these kidnappers, or if you guys are such dumbass Nazi racists, and you're cheering on these kidnappers, and you think you're going to rattle me, but I cursed you. Hold on, let me curse Abu Daba. Abu Baba. I'm going to curse Abu Baba. I'm going to curse his ICE patrol, since he works for ICE. He joined 9 years ago. He has 10 subscribers. Yeah, those are the numbers of a person who works for ICE. So I'm going to curse you, and I'm going to curse your ICE team, and I'm going to curse Trump and Putin and Netanyahu and Kristi Noem through you. I haven't cursed Kristi Noem before. So watch this. You guys doubt the power of curses and magic and stuff. So watch what happens to Kristi Noem. I just cursed her through you. You were the one who brought that up. You were the one who made me think that. So you've served a purpose. Yep, you're getting cooked. You guys got any families? Do you Nazis have any families? Did you guys hear about the ICE agent who kidnapped the other ICE agent's wife? Oh, you got beef now. Did you guys hear about the ICE agent who kidnapped the other ICE agent's wife? Oh, yeah. Happy MLK Day. Happy Martin Luther King Day. Since the president failed to wish you happy Martin Luther King Day, since he's a racist piece of shit, happy Martin Luther King Day, everybody. I'm more important and powerful than the president anyway, so you heard it from me. Happy Martin Luther King Day. You're welcome. You're welcome. What can I say except you're welcome? Oh, I can bless people. Are there people? Oh, yeah, Carissa's here. Hold on. Yeah, hold on. Let me bless people. Let me bless people with the power of, Carissa's here. Peter's here. Peter's here. Hold on. Peter's cool. Peter says Sophia is the cosmic egg, the cardinal earth elemental kingdom pocket space, the universal itself. Thank you, Peter. Nice to see you. Nice to see you again, too. Thanks for coming back, Peter. Thanks for stepping into the fray with all the Nazis. So Jesus set Judas aside, outside of Christianity, in order to come back at this time and replace Christianity. I wrote a whole ass book about it. It's this one. No, this isn't it. That's another book I wrote. It's this one. This is the book of Judas. Here, I'll turn it to a random page so you can see what I'm telling you is true. And why did the scribes have to watch closely so they could arrest him during his prayer? I imagine just to seize upon something he said or the right moment. If they can arrest him during a prayer, maybe it is still not a good idea to arrest him during certain parts of the prayer, for instance. Or they just didn't want to mess it up since Jesus had eluded them so often before. They had to catch him in private to avoid the crowds that had so often facilitated his escape from their clutches. And it says they are afraid of the people, since the crowds regarded him as a prophet. It is rather similar to the U.S. government decision to assassinate Martin Luther King Jr. Well, so if you guys don't believe in magic, you might be in the wrong place. I just happened to turn to page 260 on my book on Martin Luther King Day, and here it is, Martin Luther King Jr. It is rather similar to the U.S. government decision to assassinate Martin Luther King Jr. They were already afraid of him and his power and the people who regarded him as a prophet. But they decided to kill him because they were more afraid of what he would do alive than as a martyr. Jesus had already done plenty to get the attention and concern of the high priests and authorities. He was feeding poor people by the thousands like Black Panthers did that got them in the most trouble with the CIA. He was healing people like universal health care wants to do, so fascist insurance, drug, and other companies who profit off disease want to kill it. He was bringing folks back from the dead, which we can all do by honoring those who gave their lives for the struggle by carrying on their legacy. While Jesus had done all these amazing things and affected thousands of people's lives, now voices are coming out of the sky. This is why the high priest's grumbling was so great, and why the scribes looked for their chance to strike. But they had to be afraid of the crowds because the people were with Jesus. And then this next section is stuff that's in dark bold, which means it's from the Gospel of Judas. This is actually from Jesus and Judas' secret conversation. And they approached Judas and said to him, "What are you doing here? Aren't you Jesus' disciple?" Then he answered them as they wished. Then Judas received some money and handed him over to them. And that's the end. All right, so we have an idiot in the chat. Obviously, it's Josh is here and says, "Hail Satan." Hail Satan. Obviously, it's Josh. Rural Sheepdog Sheep says, "Judas betrayed Jesus, my guy." I'm not your guy, dude. Your guy is Putin. Your guy is Trump. Your guy is Netanyahu. You're the traitors. You're the terrorists. Trump's the Antichrist, okay? So you don't know about Jesus, and you damn sure don't know about Judas, because you don't even know Jesus. So you definitely can't possibly know Judas. You don't really know anything about Judas. I happen to. So shut up. Listen. "A family member of mine is an ICE officer." Says, obviously it's Josh. I don't know how I read that in Russian. I'm sorry about that. Do you want people to know who he is, or do you feel a loyalty to your family that you want him to be protected from the wrath of people knowing who he is? Like, how do you feel about your family member being an ICE agent? Let us know in the chat. I mean, you don't have to, though. I'm definitely not trying to put you on the spot. Oh, yeah, I guess I did bless people. I was looking for my candle, and I found my book instead. "You're not accepted to enter Agartha." Dude, Agartha? Is that Rygar? Hi, Australia. Hi, Curry Pot Bwong. Curry Pot Bwong? You have a cool name. Hello, Australia. Hello from America. Hello from USA specifically, or Russia too, to be more specific. "I'm now single and have nobody to do naughty things with, and have to buy more chapstick." I'm sorry. Yep. Being single and not having anybody to do naughty things with sucks. That's the worst. He cursed me and my boyfriend, dumped me, and stole favorite chapstick. Wait, who did this? Hey, it's your birthday. Hey, Matthew. Happy birthday. Sorry about the Nazis in chat. You can always block them. Oh, yeah, we should bless people, though. Hello, Minecraft Planet. You sound like a blockhead. Less stress being single. I don't know. I guess it depends on why you're single. If you're... Happy birthday, Matthew. I hope your best wishes come true. I hope your best wish is the end of Trumpism. And the end of Trumpism will help your country as well, even if you're not in America. Look at Greenland. Think about how much happier the people in Greenland would be if Trump was just gone and they didn't have to worry about it anymore. The thing they never had to worry about before, that they've had to worry about and are intensely more and more worried about as the days and week go on. I'll read you another selection of the Book of Judas. Jesus is calling Judas and us through Judas to realize our immortal selves and overcome fears of oppressors. And then he literally asked Judas to realize it right now by looking into heaven. Hmm. Look, you've been told everything. This is Jesus talking to Judas. Look, you've been told everything. Lift up your eyes and see the cloud with the light in it and the stars around it. And the star that leads the way is your star. And then my response is, this is page 250. Fifth star from the left and straight on till morning is the way I remember them following the star to get to Neverland or home in Peter Pan. Jesus said that he has told Judas everything now. Maybe that's why he can now see this cloud. Or Jesus is saying, I just told you about what all this is. Now look and see it for yourself. What he sees is the luminous cloud surrounded by stars, and the star that is his own will guide him on the way. Is it the way to the cloud? He seemed to say no one really goes back in the cloud. The way Judas's star leads must be a good way wherever it goes, and maybe it is the way to the luminous cloud after all, if the spirits were loaned from there to begin with. Then Judas looked up and saw the luminous cloud, and he entered it. So Judas has entered the cloud after all. Judas has left the building. Judas has said no mortal could enter. So maybe by entering the cloud, it is saying Judas has reached that holy state of awareness where he was his spirit and no longer bound to the limitation of the body. He had to know about it, the whole story, to be told everything, probably to even be able to see it. And you have to know something in order to be able to see something. Yes, God bless Greenland. Don't worry, we're going to save Greenland and America and Venezuela and EU and Gaza and everybody from Trump. Did y'all hear that Trump invited Putin to run Gaza? Yep, that's what you guys voted for. That's what y'all voted for, remember? All the people thought he was going to help. Commies. Various topics. We love Don Lemon. One topic was just that we love Don Lemon. Just thanks, Don Lemon. Anything that the Trumpers don't like, we like. That's just the way. This is the way. That's just Jesus. Yeah. Do you remember the FBI on a meth bender? Cash was changing Tyler's roommate's gender while they helped the Groypers get away. Do you remember the FBI on a meth bender? Cash was changing Tyler's roommate's gender while they helped the Groypers get away. So that reminds me, you know what they did to Rachel Good's widow? They harassed her. So the victims of their killing, they harassed her widow. You know what they did to Tyler Robinson's girlfriend? His trans furry girlfriend, roommate, who goes to another school? She went to another school. She just left. She disappeared. Gone. Nobody knows. So the person who supposedly killed Charlie Kirk, the person he supposedly killed Charlie Kirk for, because they really wanted to bring it up as soon as they found out who he was, that he had this trans furry girlfriend. The person who killed Charlie Kirk's girlfriend just runs away, disappears. Nobody knows what happened to her. But Rachel Good's girlfriend, or wife, widow, they're harassing her. You see where I'm going with this? Can you tell who killed Charlie Kirk in this situation? They only harass people who they're against. They don't harass people who are on their side. They did not harass Tyler Robinson's trans furry girlfriend because she disappeared. No one knows what happened. Speaking of which, nobody really heard anything from Tyler Robinson either, have they? Like, we'll get updates on Luigi because people care. But you don't really hear anything about Tyler Robinson. Why? because they just barely got away with that Fall Guy bullshit. So, anyway, sorry the live was a little lackluster this time. We didn't get the trolls generating greater traffic that we usually get. Oh, those little mushrooms. Have you guys heard the Sasha Riley stuff yet? About Trump snuffing kids? You guys know that stuff yet? Are y'all up to date on the Sasha Riley's reports about Trump snuffing kids? The thing that makes you say, oh, if only he was just raping kids. The thing that makes you say, if only he was just raping kids. That thing. Y'all heard about that yet? Hello, Mama Duckery. Thanks for being here. Have you heard about that on your side of the pond? Have you guys got the Sasha Riley stuff yet? I looked up Sasha Riley on Google Trends. Israel had Google searched Sasha Riley a couple days before, a day or two before the news broke in America, and everybody Google searched him here. But yeah, Israel did not Google search Rachel Good days before she was killed, but they did Google search the names of the DCIA victims and shooter, stuff like that. That was all over America, though. So you've heard about Sasha Riley. You probably hear a lot more about this stuff in Europe than we hear in America. Is there a general awareness in Europe that Trump works for Putin? Or is that hush hush? Like, do people in Europe generally, even just people in certain circles, do people in Europe, any like collective groups of people in Europe, and I apologize if I thought I remembered you were from Europe and you're not, but do people where you're from know that Trump works for Putin? Because I know it. I'm here in America. I've been saying it for years and years. My channel is heavily suppressed, so like 5 people have heard me say it. But other people in America say it. Other people in America do say that Trump works for Putin. Just, not a lot of people say it, but it's very obvious. Once you do say and see that, it's very obvious Trump works for Putin. And so it makes everything make sense because Trump works for Putin. But most of our media and stuff seems compromised, and even our content creators and stuff seem compromised slash just, I don't know. Some of them are definitely compromised. Some of them could not possibly be anything other than compromised, meaning they seem to suggest they know what's wrong, but they don't know that Trump works for Putin, so they really don't know what's wrong. They act like it's something else. Explain how that makes sense in more detail. Okay. I still want a response. Does anybody else have the general awareness that Trump works for Putin? So here's one example of how Trump works for Putin. Greenland, Alaska. Trump wants Europe to give him Greenland, right? And he's threatening Greenland. He's threatening to invade Greenland. So they are sending, more military to Greenland to defend it against Trump. Trump's also just moved a bunch of soldiers from Alaska to Minneapolis. He's sending the soldiers who were in Alaska against the people of Minneapolis, against the American citizens. But it's not just because he needs more soldiers to send against people in Minneapolis. He brought them from Alaska. Why did he bring them from Alaska? So Putin can take Alaska. It makes it easier for Putin to take Alaska, or he's going to give Putin Alaska. They're lovers and friends, yeah. So Trump's going to take Greenland, and they'll probably fight him for it, right? So there's going to kill some number of American soldiers, traitors, who follow Trump's illegal orders. The rest of them that come back, we should be putting them in jail. The ones who attack Greenland, our ally, and then come back here, we should be talking about how we're going to want to put them in jail if they do that, so that people know what they're dealing with. It would only be fair to them to let them know in advance. We're going to want to put you in jail if they don't kill you when you go invade Greenland. But Trump's invading Greenland, not because he wants Greenland, right? Not because he's not threatening Norway because he really wants the peace prize that much, And that's what a madman would do. If he was just a madman, yeah, that might be the reason he's doing it. He's working for a different madman. He's working for Putin. So Trump isn't attacking Greenland to take Greenland. He's attacking Greenland to destroy NATO. Having Greenland or not, killing a bunch of Americans to try to take Greenland is just icing on the cake for Trump and Putin. He's just doing it to destroy NATO. If they gave him Greenland to preserve NATO, Trump would be, damn, they fell for it. Okay, now I got to invade Scandinavia. Now I got to invade Sweden or whatever. Mama Duckery says, it's fun to see how Europeans try to understand why Trump is undermining NATO. Well, what are their explanations? Does my explanation make sense? He's just doing it for Putin because Putin's against NATO? I've only got 3 more minutes of the live, so we got to, even though this is like the most conversation we've had the entire time. Okay. Dima Chab says, I'm a Ukrainian. You can ask me anything if you want. I just want to ask you, thank you. Will you accept my heartfelt thanks and appreciation? All you Ukrainians are doing more to save America from Trump and Putin than anybody in America is. I hope you defeat Putin. I hope you take that country. I was saying before, to incentivize Turkey and China, split Russia into 3. Ukraine, Turkey, and China can take the 3 parts. I hope you take it all. Ukraine, just take Russia. Fuck Russia, just take it. Please take it. Please put Putin to death and recall Trump or whatever, trick Trump into some stuff. Ukraine, all I can say is I'm in awe. You guys are awesome. I love you. You're fantastic. We literally owe you everything. People in America owe the people of Ukraine everything. So that's why I have your flag represented in my painting. I just want you to know, I want to ask you in Ukraine, if people in Ukraine know that there are people in America who hate Trump, who know Trump is working for Putin, who know we have to get rid of him to save Europe, the world, Ukraine, USA, Gaza, Cuba, Greenland, Europe, everywhere. Okay, Empty Blue says, but if I wanted to argue this point to my friends, how would I make the logical link that means Trump works for Putin, assuming they don't already believe that? He calls him every day. Like, I mean, just everything, just look at anything Trump has done. Has there been any amount of the thing, any one thing he's done, take anything Trump ever does, is there any amount of that thing that hurts or goes against Putin? And then what amount of that thing serves Putin? I guarantee you it'll be 0% for hurts and goes against Putin and 100% for helps Putin. Let me know anything in chat. Like, while we have 1 minute left, let me know anything in chat that contradicts what I just said. You have to be honest. You haven't made a good case for why he works for Putin. I just did. You cannot make a single case of anything Trump has ever done that goes against Putin. You've got 1 minute left, just because I always shut down the live before an hour is up. You've got 1 minute to do it. You don't have to type a whole sentence. Just type a topic. Anything that you think there's any measure of Trump doing something against Putin. Genuinely interested in any good arguments. He told Europe they haven't been hard enough in dealing with Russians invading of Ukraine. No, he didn't. I mean, he literally didn't do that. And that's just words. That's like, oh, Elon Musk wrote broomstick on his rocket. That really cheesed Putin off. No, he didn't. They worked together. They all worked together. They worked together with Netanyahu. It's Trump, Putin, Netanyahu. So he said something. He said one thing, dude, that's fake. He said it to get them to spend more money on defense or whatever, to buy more weapons. No, dude, you don't want to stand up for Trump and Putin. I'll curse you. You'll find out. Like, you'll realize that you made a mistake. But I got shut down alive. Sanctions against Russia. He reduced those.